Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Football Roundup. It's your boy Jay-Z. We have a big week this week because we have the Champions League, so that's where I'd like to start it off. Now, the first big match of the Champions League was Real Madrid going up against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Real Madrid definitely needed this win because without it, they risked being eliminated in the group stage. And luckily for them, they did end up winning, and who else but Benzema to come through for them and provide the goals. Benzema's been one of the few players that ever since Ronaldo left has remained relatively consistent with scoring goals and providing assists and just being a great player, consistent just in general. So it was no surprise that he was the one to score, but he ended up scoring two, securing them the win. Very important win for them, and Real Madrid do end up qualifying to the next round. Found an interesting fact that Real Madrid is actually one of the few teams with a perfect record, the only Spanish team with a perfect record of the modern Champions League, being the only Spanish team to consecutively qualify past the group stage. So great for them to keep it going. We'll see how they do, but they got the important win, and luckily for them, their other opponents in that group stage did their part and got a favorable result for them. That match had to be Inter playing up against Shakhtar, and this game was boring as hell. Nothing happened, but it was interesting because this is actually the third straight year that Inter get eliminated in the group stage, and I honestly think they might end up sacking Conte because there's no way he's doing this poorly and they're just gonna keep him. They definitely hired him to compete for Serie A and definitely in the Champions League, and even in the Champions League, I know that it's a long shot for them to win. I know for sure they expected at least qualifying past the group stage, and for this to be the third year in a row that they don't make it past the group stage, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up letting him go. Now, on to the biggest match of this week in the Champions League. Juve going up against Barcelona. Now, the first game was kind of ruined because I wanted to see Ronaldo play against Messi. I'm sure everyone did. Unfortunately, Ronaldo had COVID at the time and wasn't cleared to play. But this time he was available and he did provide goals. 2 penalties. Honestly, I think the ref kind of ruined the game. The first pen was really soft. I think the way the ref interpreted it was the player was simply going for the man, no intention of playing the ball. That's the only real reason I can see the first pen being given, but whatever. Ronaldo does what Ronaldo does and he scores the pen. Ronaldo gets a little bit more involved, tries to look for a second right away, but Cuadrado ends up playing McKennie, who scores a great volley inside the box, 2-0, and you knew Barca was done. Barca had very little from any of their players besides Messi, of course. Honestly, it was basically Messi against Buffon or Messi against Juve, but the matchup between him and Buffon was just unbelievable. The highlights that these two made. Buffon in my eyes is the greatest of all time, and he just never lets me down, man. So many saves. It didn't matter if it was inside the box and you needed a quick feed or quick reflexes or just quick thinking. It didn't matter. Buffon was there. If it was a long shot and Messi placing the ball far post, Buffon was there to stretch out and make the save. Buffon was unbelievable. So unbelievable that Messi was like, hey, you're the GOAT, bro. Let me get your jersey. Let me frame this one so I can show it to my kids and be like, hey, I played against the best, and would you mind signing it for me? I'm just playing. Nah, he didn't say that, but he did ask for Buffon's jersey, and you could tell the amount of respect that Buffon gets, honestly, just from in general. Everyone recognizes his greatness, and when Messi comes up to you and says, hey man, let me get your jersey, you did well that game for sure, and that you have a long history of being such a great goalie. Juve, clearly the better team. Barca just way too poor because Juve's been, struggling. They've been a decent team, but never really, showed that they were like a dominant force in Europe or in Serie A for that matter. Yeah, now on to another big match in the Champions League. We had United going up against RB Leipzig. Necessary victory for United, and of course they blow it. So Yeah, they end up losing 3-2. Great game from Leipzig. Sabitzer had a great game, but the defense in United is just so poor, man. It's just, Maguire, I don't know, man. Like, I want to like him. I want him to be good. He has qualities where I'm like, yeah, that's the type of defender you need. But then he does things where you're like, dude, what? How are you professional? How are you getting paid so like 150,000 pounds or whatever he gets paid a week for this? Like, there was one where they play a low cross and he just kind of like lets it go for some reason. Like, no communication. De Gea was obviously not getting to it, and he's just like, hey, let the ball go through, and they end up scoring. And I wonder why he would do that. I wonder why there's no communication, whether it's De Gea saying, hey, clear it, or Maguire saying, hey, De Gea, this one's yours. Like, these types of mistakes shouldn't be happening. So Pogba came in with 30 minutes left, improved the team, and we'll see what his future holds. I think he's gonna leave too, but we'll see, man. I honestly don't know. United eliminated. We'll see if they even qualify next year, or if they have to make some drastic changes to that team, because that's not acceptable. Okay, guys, done with the Champions League. Now on to La Liga. La Liga had a great game, a big game with Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid facing off. Real Madrid needed this win. They need to be back in those positions of fighting for the title. Real Madrid, it's not allowed to be third, fourth, fifth, or whatever. It's first place or nothing. So they need a win, and they won. They were the better team. They outplayed Simeone. Casemiro ended up getting a great goal off a header after many chances, and they just couldn't get the goal, and they ended up securing it. Carvajal in the second half, but a golazo, just bombing it from outside the box, ends up being an own goal because it bounced off the goalie's back, bounced off of Oblak's back. A little bit unlucky, but Real Madrid clearly the better team. And the way the commentator put it, kind of summarized it, the way the game felt. There's a difference between saying, you guys can keep the ball, we'll wait our chances out, and being smothered by the opponent, being consistently under threat of attack, and guarding a cross after cross or shot after shot. And that's what it looked like. That's what it was. It wasn't Simeone's side being comfortable without the ball. It's just they couldn't get control of the game. And luckily for Madrid, their game plan ended up working out, and they got the dub. Now they're in the top 3 again, and they're going to fight for the title, because that's what Real Madrid does. That ends up being Atletico's first loss of the season, and we'll see. They're still second place. They can still fight for the title, but it's going to be a lot harder now. Now, still in La Liga, Barcelona faced Levante. Barcelona, of course, needing a win no matter what because of how horrible they've been doing, and it was a bad game overall. Frankie de Jong ends up playing Messi. I don't know why the defenders decided to leave him all that space to make the run. Poor defending. Messi gets the goal. Barcelona win, but they're still 8th. So I don't know how much that helped. Now there's rumors of Neymar wanting to come back, but at this point, I don't think he would fix anything. Like, if he comes back, what changes? Like, their attack is better, but the rest of the team. Like, the midfield's still not really that good, and the defenders are poor. I mean, just poor defense. PK's out. Langlet's inconsistent. Jordi's the only one that seems to have a bit of a chemistry with Messi and seems to be good pushing up. But besides that, I don't think Neymar coming would fix anything, honestly. So we'll see what happens. But Barcelona get a necessary victory. They go 8th. Okay, guys, now on to Serie A. Important game. Juventus going up against Genoa. Juventus obviously needing to win, needing to go back into title contending positions in the table. Ronaldo gets another 2 penalties, converts both of them, and Dybala gets an important goal. Hopefully boosts his morale. McKennie plays him on with a great back header. A great victory from Juve. Hopefully they keep it up. They need to put pressure on the other teams. They're back in the top 3. Important victory. More to come. We'll see what happens. Now, the team that is top of the league in Serie A is AC Milan. Again, they played without Zlatan, and they played against Parma. It ended up being a difficult game for them. They did end up tying it. Theo Hernandez coming through and providing the goals. This Milan team is really impressive to me, at least. I would have never thought that this team would have been the team to end up being first place this far into the season. I remember thinking when Rodriguez got in there, the left back prior to Hernandez, thinking that's a great signing. He's definitely going to be a key player for them moving forward. I remember when Paquetá got in there, thinking, Paquetá's going to build the rest of his career here at Milan. I remember Çalhanoğlu not necessarily doing well, thinking, wow, they might let him go, and now Rodriguez is gone, Paquetá's gone, Çalhanoğlu's playing well. So it's interesting how things work out, and glad for them. They end up drawing 2 late goals, 2 goals within 10 minutes at the end. Theo Hernandez scoring both, and Milan are still undefeated, one of the few teams undefeated in Europe's top leagues. It's Milan, Juventus, Leverkusen, and Wolfsburg that are the only teams remaining undefeated in Europe's top leagues. So impressive from Milan. Now onto the Premier League. The biggest game of the week. Manchester United going up against Manchester City, and man, this game was boring as fuck. So this game just had nothing, dude. Like, honestly, I don't know. These types of games make me wonder, like, why people praise Pep so much. Like, Pep's a great coach. Like, I know he's a great coach, but when people start talking about how he's a genius, how he's a master tactician, how he can do this and that, and how do you tie against Ole, like goalless? Ole, you tied against Ole 0-0. Like, dude, what? Boring game, very dull. I wish I would have stayed asleep. Interesting fact, no manager has ever won 4 times at Old Trafford, including Pep, including Wenger. Pep didn't do it, Wenger didn't do it, so I guess winning at Old Trafford is hard, even when Ole is there. So, yeah, 0-0, boring game. Another game that I wanted to bring up was Arsenal going up against Burnley. Arsenal lost 1-0. Arsenal currently 15th in the league. And that was it. I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was funny, man. There's no way. Like, this Arsenal team is just sad. I remember when Ferguson left United, it was just horrible. It still is, but the way Arsenal is now is crazy. Like, I never would have thought they would have plummeted the way that they did. We'll see how it ends, man. Hopefully they're still in the Premier League next year, right? Now, the 2 teams that are top of the league, being Tottenham and Liverpool, they both drew. I really wish Tottenham would have pushed for the victory. They should have taken advantage of Liverpool's draw and Liverpool's injury problems. They need to stretch that lead before Klopp gets his players back and before the season starts, taking its toll on its players. But Tottenham's still top of the league. Klopp's still hanging in their second place. Leicester third. So Leicester doing well. We'll see if they could surprise us. Maybe win the league again. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but hey, you never know. They did it once. Why not again, right? Okay, guys, that's gonna do it all for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week on the next episode of Football Roundup. Peace.